free.
Unblack, we're breaking free tonight. Unblack, unblack, walking in the light. Melanated, elevated. Truth inside. Unblack. Yeah. What is up, everybody? Welcome to our show again, Unblacked on Thursday night. We are so grateful that you guys watch. Blanche and I, we got a great show for you. We got a special guest.
We do.
Gee.
Well, his show is Consider Culture.
Yes. Consider Culture, the Consider Culture man himself. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Chi. But,
Appreciate it.
But before we do that, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, please do. Unblack on YouTube and on Instagram. Blanche, if you want to give your handles.
He is Blanchard on YouTube. He is Blanchard on Instagram. He is Free Blanche on TikTok and Free Blanche on Rumble.
Yes, follow me on Red Pill Brown Girl on YouTube. Y'all, I'm thinking about changing my name just to CJ. Blanche be calling me Red Pill Brown Girl, CJ. He be mixed up.
I'll say CJ RPG.
RPG. Y'all, I'm really red pilled though, Blanche. We were just talking about that offline. I'm like dyed in the wool red pilled.
That's why you got to keep the name Red Pill Brown Girl.
Right.
I know. I ain't gonna switch it up like Candace Owens did. She did Red Pill Black and then she changed it. She should have stayed that way. Anywho, thank you guys so much for subscribing and watching. Chi Consider Culture is in the building. I wish I had those like sound effects that we can do the class.
Right. Appreciate it. I appreciate y'all having me.
Tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I've been doing the Considered Culture show since I think about 2015. I had another show before then for Change Movement, and just saw some issues in the Black community that I wanted to address, and a lot of kind of like hoax material that people would post. Back then it was like Kemetic Egypt stuff that everybody was posting. And then you know, I came back with a Considered Culture after I saw a video about there's no such thing as black on black crime. So I felt like I had to address it, and that's what brought me back. And I've been back, you know, dabbling ever since.
Oh my God, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm at on YouTube as Considered Culture. This is, you know, one word, and then on Instagram, it's at Consider_Culture, and then Facebook is Considered Culture on a page there.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, if you have not already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button. Let us know in the chat where you coming from. We read pretty much, Blanche, we read pretty much all of our comments. We be reading y'all comments. We having a conversation on today. But Chi, I love that you said you saw something that was talking about there's no such thing as black on black crime. Why did that bother you so much?
Because it was ridiculous, and the way she presented it, is even more ridiculous. I can't quite remember her argument because that was like 2015, but it was just crazy. And at the time, you know, before I canceled my For Change Movement channel, I had spoken a lot about black on black crime. And I had, when I came out of high school, like 7 people I knew were shot and killed. So it kind of like, and all of them by somebody Black. So knowing that is just like, okay, well, there is a thing. And I think that black on black crime was actually named black on black crime by, I feel like it was like Jesse Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. But it used to show up in Black newspapers a lot. And that's the way we worded it. So to have people then come back and then say, I don't want to use the word black on black crime, or it doesn't exist, it just seemed like, okay, that's not realistic.
Black people lie, Blanche.
They lie. I'm trying to see where the term came from.
Yeah, I think it showed up in some Black newspapers first, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it came about in the 70s. They started using the term, but then they claim it got hijacked politically.
And that's a lot of times what happens. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's a
wait.
lot of times they will come up with something and then we'll say, oh, whites are hijacking it, we can no longer use it, that kind of thing. Or so for some odd reason we don't like it anymore. Like it's nasty to use it. So I don't know.
Kind of like with the word woke, remember?
Oh yeah.
You know, first everybody was trying to be woke, and then when white people started saying woke, the real woke is bad, but then black folks got upset. They're misrepresenting the word woke. That's not what it really means. And it's just
right. Or
Yeah,
now black fatigue is like that too.
Oh yeah, they're mad at black because at first they were saying black fatigue, like we're tired, and now white people are saying no, we're tired. and it's so sad because it's like you can't critique them. Everything is perfect. Black girls have magic all of a sudden. Like our skin is fantastic. There's melanin has some special powers, and it's just, if it were even 50% true, I could get with it, right? Yeah. It's like almost 0% true. Me and Blanche talk a lot about it just being opposite. Like you don't have power. Black is you. What did you say, Blanche? You said you tried the black power, but the lights went out.
Yeah, I said they talk about black power, but somebody forgot to pay the bill. You know? They know, but what's funny is that black people are convinced that unity is going to save them. And I asked them, what race of people is unified? Who? Show me some people are living their lives like people share common ideas and goals in communities, but what race of people is just unified on all fronts? It's a fantasy. It doesn't even exist.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's Chad O. Jackson that says, like, you're not unified because of the color of your skin. Like, that's not unifying. You have shared values, shared goals, shared beliefs. That's the only thing that can unify. And so I feel like I have a lot more in common probably with other cultures than I do my own, because Black people have problems. And until we start addressing them, it's just going to continue to be that way because everybody lies to Black people because they're afraid of them. But I love that. Who's that guy, that Harvard professor, Roland Fry? He said, I love these people too much to lie to them. Yeah.
And that's kind of my thought. Like, it's like, I'm trying to tell the truth so that people will change. It's like, I always liken it to, like, you know, I've never been an alcoholic, but I know the alcoholic thing is like the first step is to admit you're an alcoholic, right? And so we have to come to some terms with the fact that we have these issues. And what happens is a lot of Black people, they just go into defensive mode or deflective mode, and they will not accept it. And I think a part of it has to do with, you know, this just the psyche. It's just like, it hurts too much to admit that we have these problems. And, you know, so unfortunately, a lot of people, they just feel like they can't do it. What is it? Cognitive dissonance or what's the other one? I forgot the other one. Starts with a C.
Delusionality.
Cognitive ignorance. You know,
yeah, something like that.
You know, you go into a meeting and you mentioned the Alcoholics Anonymous, and you go there and you say, you know, I am Blanchard and I'm a Blackaholic. You know, and you go in there and express you got a problem. I got a problem. Right. You know, that's the first step. But you know what I find is that Black people always say, but white people. Like every time you hold them accountable, their response is always, but white people. And I say, well, I have a problem with that because first of all, how is your standard of living just based on what white people are doing? And then second of all, you all claim to be better than white people. So how are they a reference point in any subject? The Black people always say, but white people. I just saw a video where somebody said that Black males don't commit the most murders in the United States. But the guy, I don't know what he was thinking, but the guy was breaking down the stats for him and it was something else. But Black folks have a hard time with context and like percentages and realizing that if you are 12% of the population, when you do something it's more than somebody has a larger number. They don't understand that kind of nuance in the conversation. So it's just they look at a raw number and say, okay, that's it. But in actuality, you all are committing, and I have a clip in here, 50-some% of the homicides in the nation, about 3% of Black males doing this. And when you mention this to them, my thought is people are dying.
Yeah.
Children are dying. Like people, like you said, you had 7 friends from high school die. Like think about how traumatic. Like if you went to war, you may not lose 7 fellow soldiers. Think about that. You lost 7 fellow classmates, not even in combat, from your own community. That's insane to me. And Black folks just brush it off like it's nothing.
Right. Unless the killer's white, then
Oh,
it's something.
Oh yeah.
And then it's something, and so that's another thing that bothers me, is that we act like we're so, we care so much about Black people, but it's their lives are only valuable if somebody white is attached to it.
Right.
Like that's, I don't get how people don't understand how damning that is.
Yeah. And like you said, anytime you try to say anything, they get full on attack mode. And you know what cracks me up? It's not even the people that are living in the ghetto in the hood that call me coon.
Oh, yeah.
Like y'all, I'm ghetto. I tell people all the time, I'm unblack. It's a process. I'm unblacking, but me and Blanche, we bliggity black, and you probably too. You probably bliggity black too, Chi. We talked a little bit offline, and we get it.
Don't put that on Chi. Don't do that,
dude.
Don't put that on it. Listen, do not put that on us. That's you. That's you. That ain't us. No.
I'm reformed to a degree. To a degree.
I'm working on myself. I'm unblacking. But I say, like, the people that love me are the hood people. It's the bougie. It's the bougie Blacks that get on my nerves. They know it's true. The Jamal Bryants, the Black leadership. So
Mark Lamont Hill.
Yes, yeah. Mark Lamont Hill. He knows it's true. Man, he stresses me.
Yeah, DL Hughley is another one who gets under my skin, and Godfrey. Oh my goodness,
Godfrey is disgusting. He is so just because you know what, Godfrey knows. I can tell that Godfrey knows, but he's such a. I'm like, Godfrey, when you do comedy, it's in front of white people. Like you don't even have to do it. Like your audience is white. Black folks don't listen to Godfrey for comedy. He has that, how do you call that? He doesn't do like racial humor. It's like kind of neutral, like like anybody, but he's a panderer though.
I think that's the reason. I think that, and I think, because he's African, I think he probably got teased by Black people. You know how Black people can be. He probably was attacked. And so he has to do this over the top kind of thing. And I think a lot of Black people fall into that trap where it's like, I know for me, when I was young, I went to a private school and I caught hell from Black people. So I had to, for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to go out in the hood. I'm hanging out in the projects when I lived in the middle class. And like, I was doing all kinds of extra stuff that I shouldn't have been doing because of how Black people tried to say, well, these are the things that you're supposed to be doing as a Black person. I think we talked a little bit earlier about Black people living in unity. And I think that they try I know people always joke about us being like crabs in a barrel, but it's also, I think that Black people will say, oh, we're not a monolithic group, but they'll also be like, hey, we all need to be doing this. Like we all eat this sort of food. We all talk this way. And that to me, it was kind of off. And I haven't said this anywhere else, I don't think, but for me, I didn't grow up being raised by my mother's not Black. My mother's Puerto Rican. So my father's Black, but they divorced. So my experience is a lot different. And my mother, she got into a relationship with a white man who owned a business later. And so I lived with them. And so my circumstances were all over the place. I was all over. And both my parents are successful. My mother was an educator and my father was a psychiatrist and is a psychiatrist still. So So when in the summertime, I would effectively be in the upper class. When I'm with him, I'm living in the upper class, and I come back with my mom and I'm going to the hood, So it's like I had this life that I got to see a lot of different things. And I guess that lets me see things a little bit different than a lot of people see it. But
So it sounds to me as that you're like, you noticed where you went wrong, where somebody almost made you feel bad for talking white, going to private school, all the things that Black people truly should be aspiring to, because it's the best way to create a better outcome for your children. They criticize. So you're like trying to say, no,
right.
I've been on both sides, right?
Right. And then my parents were successful. They both my parents lived in the projects in New York City, and then they came up out of that, as so many people did in that time. So many people, you think about Bill Cosby, you think about Walter E. Williams, they grew up in the same projects. They came out of those projects and became something. And back in those days, the men were still living in the household, which is a big difference. I think I can't remember if it was Walter Williams or Thomas Sowell talks about that, the fact that, even in the projects, you had dual parent households. And then when all of that ended, you have all this, in the 60s, you start seeing this spike in crime, spike in violence. So, it's just an interesting pattern.
Yeah. Let's read the super chat. Somebody said she is that dude. Thank you so much, True and Dingo. He is that dude. I'm just getting to meet you, so I'm really, really enjoy it. Blanche, you got a question?
What's up, True? Yeah, I hung out with him before. I think he used to be in North Carolina as well. So
dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say I went to private school as well, but my private school was on MLK.
Oh
yeah. My private school was smack dead in the hood.
Oh yeah.
But the school wasn't hood at all. But the school was in the hood.
Okay.
And I remember, students would go down they used to make announcements, don't go down to the liquor store, the corner store, because kids are getting robbed. They go down there just trying to play video games and getting all their money took, just because back then video games was a big thing in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Playing video games. And so all you call them liquor stores, but they're really like convenience stores, kind of like, where they got pig feet on the counter, all that kind of stuff. But they always had
pig feet.
Pickle pig feet, yeah, pickle eggs, pickle pig feet, all that stuff be on the counter. And they would sell food in there too, like they sell like Chinese food. But video games is a big deal, and the kids from the school go out there and just play video games. The Asian kids go out there, man, them kids was thinking they was winning a video game. Yeah, right. All your money go, give it up. No. So, but I never got teased for going to private school. I think because all of my private schools were in the. Now that I think about it, they were all like kind of in the.
Yeah, were they like mixed or was it majority white or?
Okay, so in elementary school it was very mixed. It was very mixed. Middle school. Mostly white, but still there was enough. There were like Black teachers and stuff. It was kind of mixed, not as much as my elementary school. High school, Black student union, Black teachers, but also white, also Hispanic. It's a Catholic school, so we had like brothers and sisters, nuns on the campus.
Oh yeah.
My high school used to make a brandy called Christian Brothers brandy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You probably drank it.
I probably did.
Where is that?
It's in Sacramento.
Okay. All right.
He's a California guy. No. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, so I know exactly what you're talking about, Chi. Like they used to give you $1.50s. Like you remember they slice you right on your.
Yep.
They'll put the thing in there
under the mouth, or under the tongue, or in the cheek. Yep.
It was terrible. I mean, and they would do it, you guys, over JanSport strings. You remember JanSport strings? Yeah. It was the strings you put on your JanSport, and that was like the collectible
on the zipper, right?
On the zipper. Just foolishness that they be out here fighting. At least for video games, okay, of course, but JanSport strings, and they would terrorize the city. And we actually talked on on our last podcast about President Trump. This is the era where President Trump wrote that article for the Central Park Five.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Blanche, you mentioned that's how you know Chi is he did something on the Central Park Five and how it was just a lie. President Trump was growing up and watching his city decline like because of these terrorists, which was y'all sons and y'all daughters.
Yeah. So yeah, and people, they attacked him. They used that to attack him later, but people don't even realize that a few, like I think it was 2 weeks and a day after the Central Park Five incident, there was a black woman who had gotten raped in Brooklyn, matter of fact, and Trump at the time went and visited her, paid her medical bills, and he got in the news and he said it's not about race, it's really about what's going on in our city. And at the time, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of the rape victims in New York City were black and Hispanic anyway. So it was like he's talking about rape, and a lot of black people agreed with him. Like they wanted the Central Park Five gone too. There was a good deal of black people who wanted them, put under the jail. So he was just expressing a lot of the same things about the city. And I don't know if you remember, in New York there was a guy named what is his name, Bernard Gates. It's a white guy. So he was riding on the train one evening, and I guess a group of guys, I think they had screwdrivers. They tried to rob him with screwdrivers, and he had a pistol.
Oh,
and
I saw that.
Yeah, so he shot. I think this is right before the Central Park Five, maybe a year or two before the Central Park Five. So he shot him. And matter of fact, one of the Central Park Five was said to have mentioned Bernard Gates during their robberies when they were terrorizing the park that night. So they did rob like 7 people. Ultimately, they attacked. You only hear about the one white woman, but there were 6 others. So one of those 6, he yelled something to the effect of, well, he said, what are you, a vigilante? Is what he asked the guy, because the guy was, kind of saying he would fight him or something like that. He said, what are you, a vigilante? That came from Bernard Gates. Like Bernard Gates was known as the New York vigilante because he took vigilante justice by shooting the kid. So, but a lot of black people, my point was, a lot of black people were like, yeah, I'm glad he shot him.
Yes.
Like he should have shot them. They shouldn't have been out there robbing. But somehow we've gotten to this point where it's no longer okay to do anything about criminals because the criminals are black. And that goes back to that unity thing. I think that black people take it overboard. So it's like we have to be united, and the cops are bad. So it doesn't matter if the people, just like O.J. Simpson, when the O.J. Simpson won, black people, they didn't care. Most black people will tell you, I think he was guilty. But at the same time, they'll also say, it doesn't matter whether he's guilty. This is retribution. Right. And it's interesting. Not long ago, they interviewed one of the jury members, and the jury member, she was a black woman. She said, yeah, the reason that we let him off was in response to Rodney King. So it's basically paying back people for Rodney King, which is, it's cringe. And now you have a bunch of, this is the thing. Now I've been doing this for a long time. I have not seen the kind of backlash that I'm seeing now with all this black fatigue stuff. I don't know if you guys get it, but on my channels, I get responses from a lot of white folks who are angry and saying some pretty much borderline racist things about black people because they're upset. And I think a lot of it started when that white woman was killed on the train in Charlotte here in North Carolina. And so many white people saw that, and I made a video, said the internet's probably one of the worst things that happened to black people, because you got so many videos. You got World Star, and now this is a World Star kind of idea, is to just put all this crap on the internet, and white people see that stuff. It's like, and then you attack black conservatives when we point it out and say this is wrong, but you don't attack the people who are posting it. It bothers me to no end. Like,
you're proud of it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
I
that's
think it's,
Bernard Gates there.
yeah, I think it's pronounced
Getz, maybe.
Getz, yeah, Bernard Getz. But that's him. When you mentioned his name about the shooting on the train, I remember I saw like a little YouTube documentary on this. But in this clip right here, you have they're comparing Zimmerman to Getz as like a vigilante type of
Oh
justice.
yeah.
They when black folks revisit history, it's always they go to the wrong spot every time. They never revisit history from an accurate lens. It's always emotional propaganda, whatever. And I realized something a couple of years ago that black people get their information pretty much from word of mouth, like
Yeah.
something to be said in the black community, and then it's just etched in stone. Like it doesn't matter if you present the truth to them; it's already been passed down for generations. So white people smell like dogs when they get wet. It don't matter what you. That's just
right. And there's a book about that. It's called Heard It Through the Grapevine, and it talks about the oral history and oral traditions within the black community, and how in Africa and other places the oral history was more important. Storytelling was more important than writing. So with that, it's
they
couldn't read back then either. God.
It's not that they can't read, is they don't read. It's not that they can't. That's the most frustrating part, Blanche. Like, they don't read. And then they get mad at people like you, people like me. They get mad.
But there are some of us who do read, like you were talking about the black elites earlier. They do read. It's just that they read their echo chamber.
Yeah.
And if I think some of you all were once Democrats. So I voted for Obama in 2008. Back then,
I did it twice.
I read a lot of books in those days. I was given a lot of books when I was growing up. My mother always gave me books about civil rights heroes and things like that. And so when I started to read some of the conservative books, I didn't realize how different the writing styles were until I started reading like Selby Steele and Thomas Sowell. And what I started to find out is that they are writing about facts, statistics. It's just numbers. This is the facts. Bam, 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 bam. But I go back and I read some of those other books that I used to read, and it's like all of this is about emotions. It's not about they're not laying out the facts. And once I started reading that different style of writing, it just kind of something clicked in me that this is what I need to do. This is what I need to be focusing on. These people have their finger on the pulse. They know what's going on. All this stuff about my feelings is for the birds. I don't need that.
But you had the courage of your convictions. Like, and sometimes I am desperately waiting. As a girl, I tell Blanche all the time, I'm unapologetically a female. As a girl, we are waiting for more men to start checking these Roland Martins of the world, to start seriously, like, you guys are the ticket to our freedom, so to speak, because like this, like you said, this echo chamber, it's all emotion. The leaders of this world, the black leaders have failed the black community, and it's just getting worse. It's like going down the toilet. You're mad at me, you're mad at Blanche, y'all mad at Chi, but you're not mad at the booty hole song. Like, you're not mad at that.
Right. I can't understand it. I really can't. Because, especially when we're like doing response videos, right? And we're responding to things that somebody black posted. Somebody black was filming it. Those people that post the original posters, you're not going after them. You're going after the people who are saying that's the wrong thing to be doing. That says a lot. And white people are seeing it. They're seeing what's going on, and they're saying these people have problems. And I said this years back. I said that white people are going to get tired of this. Now, liberals, I don't know. The liberals, They're funny, but I think the liberals are part of the problem because they kind of pet black people. Oh, you poor hurt black people. You go ahead and we understand you want to have a tantrum, go over there and have a tantrum because I know your feelings are still hurt from hundreds of years ago. So go have your tantrum, tear things up. We'll pay for it. Don't worry. And so it emboldens black people to continue this type of behavior, and then black people do the same thing. The black elites are doing the same kind of thing. It's just kind of like, yeah, well, we have all these problems, so that's why our underclass is doing that. So you got to leave them alone and let them do what they do, and nobody checks us. And so now you have all this stuff. It's like years and years of unchecked crap piled up on top of crap, and then so now you got the children who who were raised by, I won't get into all that, but it's just a lot of a pile of stuff packed up high, and we can't say anything about it. It's like we got to stop the process or it's going to get worse every year, I think.
Yeah, and it has gotten progressively worse. And again, somebody mentioned it, JV Chanel, that the black community is a matriarchy. And that's pretty much the problem, that black women dominate. They dominate the politics, they dominate education, they dominate the church, they dominate the culture. And that's why black culture has become so LGBTQ, don't forget X, Y, and Z. That's why it's become so intense with that, because black women are basically the gatekeepers of all of this stuff. And so you have black men that if a black man says, you know what, I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to say what's the truth and what's right, he's automatically labeled. They're going to say you're a Trump. Think about it. They can call you a Trump supporter. Think about a man standing up and telling the truth and being labeled as a Trump supporter, or they may say he's red pill or he hates women. Whatever they say, they're already prepared for people like you and I to even voice an honest opinion. But I do like your approach, because your approach is very calm, very relaxed. And I just picture when you're doing these videos, black folks just tearing the whole house up, and you just calmly speaking. They break your stuff. I hate it.
Yeah, the adult in the room.
Right, you just calmly talking, and it does take courage. And I tell people that in order for this to work, and conservatives are guilty too, because conservatives look for the lowest hanging fruit of black person to pull up. Like they'll look for the black person that can just simply spell their name and walk straight. And they'll be like, "Oh, we got one. Okay, come on stage." And they're part of the problem too, because what happens is like we get overlooked because they don't even see the nuance really among black people. They think it's just a black person with some sense is the anomaly. I'm like, there are black folks that have sense. They may not be vocal, but a lot of black folks that have sense just avoid it altogether. They won't be vocal about it because they don't want to get ostracized and, like I say, have their job affected, whatever. But people like us will get overlooked for somebody that just came on the scene and just says, these liberals are crazy. The crowd just goes crazy. I'm like, wait, I said, that's it. That's all it took. But again, to me, this whole machine really can't work unless black folks are black. Because the moment black folks start saying, we don't want this, we're not taking this, the whole system is now you have to actually start having to qualify having a black person, on your team, not just the fact that they're black and not crazy. No, this person is black and also they have these talking points, these stances, like they actually qualified in what they're saying, not just you patting them on the back. It's the same patting. It's the conservative pat, it's the liberal pat. It's the same patting on the head, both of them going to the low-hanging fruits, never to the actual people that actually care about the community, actually got some sense, not liberal, not woke, not a victim, not going to hold on to I was a slave 400 years ago, none of that. Actually, with sensible talking points, we get overlooked.
Yeah, and I think to that point, I think there's also, because so many blacks are Democrat, I think that we have a tendency on the right to kind of approach them in a way like, oh, the Democrats haven't done anything for you for all these years. Come over here. And then it's like, but when I hear that
cringe
phrase like that, the thing I'm thinking is Now they're just thinking that the Republicans are going to do something for them. And my thought is, you should, I mean, this may be more of a libertarian take, but I don't think we should be looking to the government to fix any kind of problems that we have. That's something we have to do internally, but
Right.
within us. You can't be looking for the government to solve it. So if you're looking towards Republicans or Democrats to be the solution, that's not the right way to look at it. I mean, I hate to quote John F. Kennedy, you don't ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. You need to start thinking about what we can do as a people for ourselves, and not looking to when is the government needs to do this. And I've been doing a lot of my videos recently have been about the Black Panthers. And as I've been researching the Black Panthers a lot, it's like everything that they were about was about what can we get the government to do for us?
Ah.
And it's like, was it really like that? And these are the people that Black people hold these people up on a pedestal. I mean, I have friends who's like, oh yeah, my uncle was in the Panthers, and it's like this big deal. But when you start to research this stuff, like you said, to your point, Blanche, like every time you look at this stuff, it's like, it's not what has been said to you over the years. So it's like, I spent nights literally crying in tears from finding out stuff is not what, and how do I deal with the fact that this isn't what I thought it was? Like, and then how do I deal with talking to people after? Like, if I go on somebody's show, I can't say the things that I used to say. I know the truth now. Like, I can't, what can I say now? I'm faced getting attacked for it. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's so funny that you said it, because me and Blanche say it all the time. Like, I cringe when I hear them say, well, what they gonna do for us? Like, we're like just this childlike mentality of Black people is so annoying. They're always looking, oh, well, what can they do? Vote Black because they are our interest. What are your interests? I only want the government to do their job. I don't want President Trump to do anything for me. I don't want a government check. I need them to take care of the roads.
Right.
I need them.
Infrastructure.
The bridges are safe.
Right.
I mean, like, I don't need you to do anything. And so the mindset of, even, I'm telling you, how Pastor Manning said, even if the Negro is an astrophysicist, he got problems. The mind of the Black man is always, gimme, gimme, gimme. What can you do for me? And then you wonder why Black women can't respect you. I mean, like, how can you respect the person who is hopeless? And Blanche, you did a video about it the other day, and I loved it. It was like, how do you expect Black women to look to a person who literally says, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. I mean, they holding me down. And I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? I'm inferior.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends who I have the same. I'm sure you guys have the same thing. It's like your friends are constantly sending you stuff. Well, look, here's something white people do the same thing. Here's this video, white people fighting. What do you think of that? It's like
I'll be like, beautiful. I love it. Good. Finally, they're doing something. Like,
right.
I don't even engage when they do that, because I'm just like, I don't care about white people. I really, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just, like, white people are white people. I love white people. I love Black people. I love Americans. I don't even see color. You remember the people used to get mad when you say you don't see color, but I truly don't see color, because I realize that neither does God. He does not. We're all his children. We're all made in his image and his likeness. I know Black folks think that it's just them, but he made white people too. And so when I'm thinking about these things, it's just like Black people are obsessed with white people and what they do.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I talk about this where Black people would have, white Jesus in the house. and then MLK got assassinated. Then it was white Jesus and MLK. But think about MLK. I have a clip I want to play too. But think about MLK, right? And Cassius Clay, because you did a video on Cassius Clay, didn't you? But think about
I had a clip of him. Yeah.
Yeah, but think about MLK and what was he really saying? Just if you just take it, strip it all down, what was MLK really saying? He was saying that the government owes us.
Yep.
The whole premise of the entire civil rights movement, it wasn't just sitting at lunch counters and using restrooms and drinking from water fountains. It was the government owes us something because of slavery.
Yep.
This is the entire premise. But if we look at this nation, everything that Black people have asked for,
They've
the
gotten.
country has obliged. Every single thing. The only reason they have not got reparations is because Black folks know if they get reparations, that's it. And so they're playing this stall game. And is it this? Do we get land? Do we get the vouchers? Do we get money? Black folks know if these white folks cut that check, y'all will have no more legs to stand on because everybody knows reparations will not solve a thing.
Nope.
Because your culture will just be amplified because now y'all got a check. So it's Black culture with a check. That's all it is on steroids.
Right. Yeah, I've thought the same thing. Like, absolutely. If there's a check that ends, like, you would think that, after you had the Black president, it's like, okay, because people say we'll never get a Black president. Now you get a Black president. Okay, we got that. Well, it was things are still messed up. It's just, so it's like you get the things that you said you desired, and that's the thing about the civil rights movement. A lot of the things came about. You got the things, and then you see the Black Panther Party came like after they passed the civil rights thing. It's like they're still asking, we need free stuff, we need this, and they were extorting Black businesses. They were saying that the Black businesses are part of the white power structure, so you owe us money too. So give us money on a weekly basis, like crazy stuff. It's just
and most of those Black Panthers were very immoral people. They were doing the most wicked and evil and diabolical things to Black people. Teach 'em Chuck has a whole series on the you probably like Teach 'em Chuck too, but he has a whole series on the Black Panthers with a lot of other stuff. But yeah, when you find out how these guys really operated, I remember when Bobby Seals was giving a speech one time, like a couple years ago, 2015, maybe 2016.
Mhm.
And he said, we used to go and we used to debate like rich white people. I'm assuming liberal whites, liberal Jews. We used to debate them. And if we wanted to debate, they would cut a check. Think about this. You have a revolutionary movement, supposed to be Black power, but they're going to liberals, whites, to get a check. Then they're coming back and saying we're about revolution. And when he said it, nobody even batted an eye. Everybody was like, so you're telling me that this Black Panther Party movement was funded by liberal whites? It wasn't funded by actual Black people? Then you look at how they had ties to China and communism. It's just, again, it's just so bad that the history that we got was just so egregiously false. Like it was just such a it's just a lie. And then you, like you say, you find out, you like, wait a minute, none of this is true. I felt like Neo, I call it the Blatrix, but I felt like Neo in the Matrix when you actually take this pill and you start to see, well, wait a minute, none of this stuff is real. Like all of our leaders, even Marcus, they love Marcus Garvey. I'm like, Marcus Garvey's meeting with eugenicists. I was like, Marcus Garvey wasn't no. Anyway,
he wasn't even American.
I haven't gone down the Marcus Garvey route yet.
Listen, Marcus, you can pick anybody. We can play spin the wheel. We can do the blind, and you can pick any of these leaders. And you peel behind that curtain, and they are not just bad; they're horrible.
Yeah. It's so sad that you said that, Blanche, because I can't think of a single person that is accepted by Black people and is not dishonest. Even Roland Fryer. So Roland Fryer was a Harvard professor that did the whole study on Blacks and police
brutality.
And mind you, Roland Fryer is a Negro. Like he one of us, what we used to be, okay? And he wanted to do the study because he wanted to prove that blacks were being over policed.
Right.
The study was done, and he found out that we weren't being over policed. Actually, police were hesitant to arrest us. He didn't believe it, so he did it again. He fired all those interns that did the first study, and he's like, no. Let me do a whole new set of interns to make sure what I'm saying is correct. Black folks were under policed. They literally attacked him. They went. He got suspended from his Harvard job. They made sure he was never like.
He had to get security.
And they told him, they were like, you don't want to come out with this because it's going to end your career. I don't even know where Roland Fryer is. He's amazing, but he still wants to be black.
I saw my Popeyes. He's working at Popeyes.
He still wants to be black. Roland Fryer, we are appealing to you right now. Just go ahead and unblack yourself. They're never going to accept you unless you lie. And I quote him all the time to say, I love these people too much to lie to them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult. It's certainly difficult.
Hold on. He said, and he when he was talking, he said, now think about this report that he came up with, this study. It took a year and then another year. So it took 2 years for the study. He said he presented it to them and he said they responded in 5 minutes and said, no.
You can't do this.
Think about that. We're talking about hundreds of pages. They responded in 5 minutes and said, no. He said, how did you read it in 5 minutes? They were like, no. No. Yeah. So what RPG is saying is true in that Black people actually, and I found this out the hard way. There was these Trump tweets back in 2020, and I said to myself, there's no way. I wasn't even a Trump supporter, none of that. I was still Black, I was still pro-Black, I was all that. Mm-hmm. I said, there's no way this man is tweeting this stuff. I said, it's impossible. He can't be this crazy and be president. So I said, let me go to his actual Twitter account. Duh. I went to his account and I said, wait a minute. I said, all these tweets are fake. So then I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, Black folks don't know. So I go back to Facebook. Bad idea. So I'm like, listen, y'all, these tweets are lies, it's fake. It's not real. Here goes the real tweets.
He got his head knocked off.
Man, what I tell you, Black people was going, we don't care if it's fake. We don't care if it's a lie. He racist.
Right.
I didn't know that Black folks were like that because we grew up with the propaganda that Black folks are inherently good. Yep. So right. Black folks are only bad because white folks have done something, whether it be slavery, segregation, water hose, dogs, stick, whatever. White folks did something to make Black folks act up. So we always taught that Black folks are really good.
Right.
But I realized, wait a minute. I said, I'm showing y'all the truth, and y'all are, when I tell you they did not care, that's when I realized, oh my goodness. And then when I went down that rabbit hole, I haven't been out. I'm still digging in the rabbit hole. I ain't been out since. I'm still digging.
I don't want to be out. I'm sorry. Y'all, I'm out of the dark into the light. Like, y'all, something is seriously, seriously wrong with Black people, and it starts with the leadership. So I am imploring people like you guys, oh God, the men of this community, listen to what these men are saying and have the courage of your convictions. You know what the Roland Martins, and you know it's wrong. You know it's a lie.
Mark Lamar Hill, Van Jones, we can go into the list of Ben. I didn't know that Ben Crump couldn't read.
Really?
No, listen.
Got his
Ben was trying to read. He was trying to read because normally he just talks.
Mm-hmm.
But this time he was trying to read in front of a press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And the man didn't know how to say carotid art. Like he couldn't read the word. He literally couldn't. I'm like, you have seen thousands of autopsies. So
right.
You've had to have seen carotid artery 1,000 times. He couldn't say the word. He couldn't even. I'm like, did you proofread? Like, did you read his book? He didn't. And so I realized that to get even deeper, they're giving these folks degrees.
Oh yeah.
These people are just, they're not actually earning, they're giving these people degrees because there's no way this man can't read and he's an attorney. I just don't believe it. Like, and somebody mentioned today, somebody said that they looked at the graduation rate of one of these colleges and they were like, students can't read in college. Like, it's bad. Like, they're literally just getting a degree in college and moving on and coming out to the workforce.
Yeah, well, they're doing that from K through college now, from kindergarten to college at this point. But I worked at a university for probably almost a decade, and I know that there were administrators, vice chancellors, and that could not read. And I noticed because their secretaries they were friends of mine for years and years and years, and so they would say, "Yeah, I got to do all their emails. I got to answer every email because they can't read." I was like, well, how did they have a PhD to get in that position? How do you even get in that position? I have no clue, but there are people who are like that and that are high up. And I don't have any. I think a lot of it has to do with, I hate to say this, there's probably some Greeks here listening somewhere, but I think some of it has to do with the Greek affiliations, because a lot of these people are Greeks, and I can't see how else they're getting up into these high places.
Weak white people. White people have allowed immigrants and have allowed the Bliggitties to destroy the civilization that they built. And they think that they're being good, they've washed their sin of racism or slavery or whatever.
It's slavery.
By letting the low IQ people step up to the plate. I don't understand it. And we said in the last video, Blanche, it'd be different if it was only 10 years. If you gave them 10 years and you said, okay, let's see how the low IQ people and the women do with running the country. And then 10 years, you see a decline. You say, okay, we gave you 10 years. Let's take it back. Thank you, because you're not doing a good job. It has been 70 years. And I still see, every time I see a female running for office, it's cringe, Chi. Women are not equipped. Why are strong men not running the country? Like a city like Chicago, we got a Republican female Black chick, and her husband is a police officer. And I just want to take him and her, and I want to say, whoop, sir, you need to be running. Why is she? I like her. She's cute. Shout out to her. Nothing wrong with her. But sis, you got 4 kids. Go do that and let the men run the city.
Amen.
Right.
4 kids.
Yeah.
Little kids. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Little kids.
Ooh.
Look up the Republican candidate. She's a Black chick. I don't even want to say her name. Sweet as a button. I like her. But I told her, she keep doing, y'all, I don't want to disparage the girl, but I got to say it. I'm going to just say it. Y'all, I'm just say it. And I don't care if y'all tag her in this. She was in the Republican primaries, y'all. And I'm telling you, like every second week, every other week, she was posting, they took down my signs. This person did this. This person did that. They made my name. They tried to take me off the ballot. I mean, like all kinds. And she won the Republican primary. She is a young, beautiful Black chick with these small kids. Husband is stacked, okay? And she running for office. Why? Why is that happening, you guys? I don't care how much I like you. I'm not voting for no female. I'm just not doing it. You see what happened?
I'm trying to see who this is.
I would say her name. I just don't want to say her name.
No, don't say it. I'll look it up.
Don't say her name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Don't put the name in the chat. Y'all just shout out to her. Shout out to her. Y'all know what I'm talking
Is
about.
she cute?
She's very cute. She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
This can't be her.
Hold on, let me see.
Is she in shape?
Yes, she is in shape. Her name, starts with the C, and then her last name is M. So
Well, I don't know who that is.
okay, she is running. In Illinois. Yeah, in Illinois, she's running to be the first congressional. So for Congress, sis, go sit down. Go raise your kids. We'll see you when your husband runs, and you be his secretary, please. Please and thank you.
That's something I haven't spoken about too much is the dynamics between men and women, and it's something I really want. I've always wanted to talk about that and the Black family. I have not gotten to that point yet. It's always something that comes up first before I get there, but I haven't reached that. I know that's going to be a new level of backlash when I get to that part.
I know. Somebody said, Crystal, respectfully, now that we're on the topic of gender, we need a female only show and a male only show. Did you just tell me I need to shut up?
That was a nice way of saying shut up.
Did you just tell me I need to shut up? I didn't say females couldn't have opinions. I don't want females legislating.
Not in leadership.
No.
Not leadership. No.
Now, I know there's been a lot of discussion about lady judges and that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Helen Andrews.
No.
Have you seen any of her videos? So Helen Andrews has basically stated that wokeism is basically feminism. It's over feminization of American society.
Yes, I've seen her. Yes.
Yeah, real interesting takes on it. But she basically says that once a business or a corporation or any entity gets up to about 20% of female hires, the culture changes within that company or within the government or whatever, wherever it is. And so it changes, and then you get more of this kind of woke kind of process of doing things, because by nature, women are more nurturers, and they're going to allow some things that men wouldn't allow. It's a real interesting take. If you have time, just check her out, because
yeah, I believe it. Somebody said, I don't see any issue with CM. I'm from Illinois. Seems legitimate. Andre, you are the problem. Somebody with 4 little kids. No. Love your opinion, but Blanche runs that show. And I'm okay with that. Blanche, what do I always say? And let me tell you something. I am one that I don't just speak about it. Blanche, we speak offline. Whatever Blanche say is what we do. Blanche, what clips you want? Blanche, how you want? Blanche. And I'm very much like that with my husband. I am, but you guys, this is important. I had to learn to be like this. I'm telling y'all, I'm unblacked. I used to be bossy, black, bobbing my head, can't tell me nothing, screaming, yelling, hollering, and all that, and I had to learn that it's not cool.
Yeah, and I think marriage helps, and I think that to piggyback on what she was saying, and the lady was saying, that if you think about what happens, you said a company's culture shifts with 20% female hires, right? 20% employees.
Yes.
So imagine what's happened to the Black community, because now
Exactly.
it's larger than 20%. It's like the 50% that's women. Think about it. So if it's a corporation, it was 50% women corporation, it would be completely woke, and the company probably wouldn't even last.
Right.
So you look at the Black community, 50% Black women. Think about, you got Big Mama, you got the single mom, you have the ratchets, you got the hood rats, you got the educated, you got the careers, you got the CEOs. You have all these dynamics of different levels of Black women in the Black community. think about black men though. You have the deadbeat dad, you have the criminal, and what else? You got the gay guy.
Weak.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
think about those are the main three black archetypes in black community, and then women have all the other ones. So you see that the culture has shifted, and I agree with the woman. I'm listening to what she said, but yeah, when women are given this kind of power, this is what happens. And so the black community, guys like you and I are like, I don't want to say dinosaurs because we kind of like, I guess maybe dinosaurs in a sense, but we're either dinosaurs or something that they haven't heard before. Guys that take these kind of stances, they even stand up to even against the liberal ideologies and communism and all this stuff, even have these opinions is like startling for black women. Like when I say stuff like, I ain't black, I'm free, they'd be like, what? Like it's just they look like I'm crazy. Or like that's or Kamala Harris is bad for black people, or all these kind of takes I say, it's like I'm like I don't want to say like a relic, but like more or less, I guess something they haven't seen, an anomaly, I guess. I don't know, but it's just I just see black women being my biggest antagonists when I'm in the real world. Online is black guys sometimes, but most of my stuff in the real world is black women pushing up against what I say.
Right. And the other thing is like when we're talking about these black fatigue videos, when you look at a good, I would say probably at this point the majority of them are that I'm seeing are women engaging in fights. You're seeing women who are doing they're involved in the teen takeovers. It's like both men and women, but so definitely the fight videos, the people who are having problems with customer service and just throwing fits and tantrums in stores and breaking stuff, or they have the one where the girls throwing stuff at the through the McDonald's window and stuff like this. So it's a lot of this. The videos are actually women misbehaving.
Yeah.
And that made me think about when I was growing up and hanging out in the projects. When I was a teenager and still in high school, girls would get pregnant, and their parents would allow them to go out of the house and they'd get their own apartments. That would be the place where we would hang out, like at these girls' apartments. They got an apartment in the projects. We're going over there. We're going to hang at Keisha's house because Keisha doesn't have any parents. So everybody would be there. And then she's got little kids engaged in this. People are smoking, drinking, yelling and hollering, and the kids are seeing that. I've seen people blowing smoke in little 3-year-olds' faces back in the day. I've seen all kinds of craziness, and you seeing it on some of these videos where the kids are acting out. But you got what I had to think about is like I'm 50 right now, so a lot of I got friends who are grandparents. So a lot of these people, the YNs or whatever you want to call them, they're grandkids. These are the same kids who got the weed smoke blowed in their face as a kid, who saw their parents fight because at the time you got two teenagers, 15 years old, trying to raise a kid. They can't even get along. They're having fights,
right?
Violent fight altercations between themselves, and that's where these kids are coming from. That's what all these people that you're seeing. That's where they're coming from. That's the environment that they're coming from. It's like, how do you even fix that at this point? And I think like we have to kind of go scorched earth on the policies that reward people for having these single parent. But how do you get people to buy into that? Like, with so many women at the helm, they're going to be like, no, we need to nurture these situations. These people need the government. They need this and that, and men are no damn good. So we need this stuff to help. How do we even make a dent? I rack my brain thinking about it sometimes, but I feel like it needs to be done. I don't have a solution all the time, other than to keep talking and hopefully people will get it.
Yeah. Let's read the super chat. Maestro Mark. It says, how does Black culture get reformed, or what should the end game be? I think we need the introduction of a better, more truthful racial paradigm in media and consistent tough on crime policies. That's literal. Thank you so much for the super chat, Maestro Mark. That's exactly literally what you just said. Is I definitely think that we need, I don't know. What do you guys think? I definitely know we need to be tough on crime. I think media is such a tool that is underutilized. in the positive way. Like you said, I believe that the voices that are elevated are the ignorance, and voices like you guys are just pushed to the side, and media can change that. Like, think about it. We were doing, I did a show the other day where Don Lemon, you guys remember in 2008, he was talking about Black boys and Black
Mhm.
people need to pull their
Yep.
pants up,
Yep.
stop cursing, stop doing this, stop doing that. And that wasn't rewarded.
Yeah, I remember thinking Don Lemon was probably I thought he at that time I didn't know him that much. I just heard that and I was like, he must be a black conservative because I had just got into reading a black conservative book, but then you find out who he is now. But a lot of people took those kind of stances. Barack Obama in his first
Yes.
term, he talked about these kinds of things, and it's just like at some point, I think what happened is again I think that black people kind of to some degree like the idea of being a victim because of the fact that we're not doing as well as other groups, so we need an excuse for that. It doesn't look good, so how do you excuse it? You have to have some reasoning, and you don't want to say, well, it's you definitely don't want to see it's something that is inherent in us. You don't want to say that we are making poor choices either. That feels bad too. So how do you go about, you know, circumventing all these accusations and things that are being hurled at us? It's like, well, white people, this is just a product of slavery. So without that, I think a lot of black people feel naked. Like there's no shield of racism. So they'll fight you for, if you try to prove something is not racist, they will fight you, like, to say that is racist. It has to be. There's no other option other than it being racist, and that is problematic. It just puts a barrier between us and progress. And I think the progress will only come when people, again, like I said at the beginning of this, is that people have to acknowledge that there is a problem. If they're not going to acknowledge it, nothing's going to happen because they're going to be waiting for white people to fix it.
Men have to acknowledge.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more of us. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I started doing this in 2006, 2007, and so in 2007 when I was on YouTube, there was like 3 people talking like me, and now there's a ton of us. So and I think it's important to have. I know we talked about some of the low level, the lowest fruit, the low hanging fruit. But I think those people are important too, even though I sometimes disagree with the way that they're going about it. I think that for whatever reason, a lot of black people don't respect any kind of message unless it's coming from somebody that they feel embraces some degree of the counterculture. And I
Yes.
talked about this in a video. I think that a lot of this stuff has to do with, you have to have some kind of counter culture presence in your delivery. Otherwise, you're looked at as somebody that they're not going to relate to. They don't want to relate to. You're just some Uncle Tom type of person and who's educated, and you talk the white man's language, and I'm not going to listen to you. So it's like the reason why you have the more popular black business owners, or the people that we elevate and push and hold in high regard, like the Jay-Z's or Dave Chappelle or somebody, like, they have this counterculture element. And then all the people who, there's a ton of, when I was working at the HBCU, I saw all these big black business owners that nobody ever heard of. But when you start talking to them, they speak the King's English. They're very serious. They're not on any BS. And so a lot of black people just don't respect them. So you need those kinds of voices that are kind of like well, how would I say this? Like, it's like how people said marijuana was the drug that
Anyway,
yeah, the gateway. You need the gateway drug till you get to the real product. You need people to kind of get some of this message that's a little bit diluted and is still speaking their language until you get them to kind of accept it, I think. And so I'm happy that there are other voices who are who grew up around the counterculture presence and kind of feel like they're a part of that kind of thing, so that the message can get heard a little bit. I don't think that a lot of people are going to accept it without it.
And I agree, and that's what I talk about when it comes to being Black. So the problem is that the Black identity is not really about skin color. It's really more about an ideology. And so when we talk about being, what does it mean to be Black? If you take away slavery, if you take away racism, if you take away Jim Crow, segregation, if you take this stuff away, there's no Black. Black only exists as a counter to white. So think about Black folks even call it the struggle. So unless you're a part of the struggle, you're not even Black. And we know this because if you have a different opinion than is shared with most Black people, they take your Blackness from you. They'll call you Uncle Tom. They'll call you sellout. They'll call you coon. They'll call you bootlicker. So again, it's beyond skin color. And the problem is that victim mentality at some point stops the message, because there's going to come a point where you got to say, you know what, no excuses. We got to go ahead and put this plow into the field. We got to work. Like it, you got to leave, and you won't ever get there because there's always this anchor that says it's white people's fault. That's why I say on some of these points, people come in, they'll say, even conservatives do it. Listen, we know America's racist.
No.
Once you say that, it's over. You are not going to be able to, because that means you got to bring up slavery, reparations, and this. Like it's so much. That's why, to me, I agree with you. There needs to be build up voices to go from, get you from point A to point B and then all the way to Z. But I guess we can make it like it's martial arts. When you get to the higher levels, you start getting to the kung fu masters, and you got to have some folks that are not making this about race.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that Black folks are inherently slow. They're inherently immoral. I don't believe it. Well, I don't believe that. I believe that Black people have a character problem because they've been given an excuse. Think about this now. Think about a people that their culture says that it's not their fault. So that means even the woman in the OJ trial, the former juror, think about how bold you have to be to get on camera and say, yeah, it was for revenge for what they did to Black folks. Like, and guess what? No death threats. No, America's racist, right? She didn't get any death threats. She didn't get any backlash. She didn't lose her job. Like, nothing happened to this woman. And she literally said, we thought he was guilty. We had to get back at white folks. And so what I'm saying is that even the conservative Blacks, when they talk, the talking points are even from a person that is
Black.
not, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we can't ever get anywhere because, in my opinion, it's like a tug and it's a pull. It's like you say one thing, an example, Charleston White. Charleston White will say some great things. I'm talking about phenomenal things. And then he'll erase all of it by talking about something. Like, it's just like, dude, but I get it, because he knows if I just stay on one side, they're not going to accept me. Like he knows this. I'm on one side, right? But I catch hell on being on that one side. Like, people got to warm up to me. And like what RPG said was right. The folks I get pushback from are not people that are in the hood. Like, people in the hood, hood people love me.
They agree.
They actually love what stuff I say. It's the educated Black folks. It's the fat folks that got a little money. It's the Black folks that are above that kind of fray. Those Black people, the ones that can actually make something shake out here, the ones that have these positions in politics, the ones that like in these city positions, those are the Black folks that have a problem with what I say. Not the hood people. And honestly, not even rich Black folks. Not even wealthy Black people do. It's that upper middle class Black person. Mm-hmm. That Black person, and to me, they're the ones that cause the most damage, because they're not too far removed from the hood, and they're far, but not that far away from those more elite circles. And so to me, they cause the most damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the lukewarm. Like, and I mean, even if you want to take it biblically, like it's just it's disgusting. So Blanche and I, like, we're so far, like we Unblack, we don't even claim y'all, we don't, we love y'all, but and you have to do that because they don't take you seriously. Like Blanche said, anytime I hear a conservative person like talk about racism, and you're out, you're not conservative. America is the least racist place. You want to see a racist place? My girlfriend, they have a hotel over in the Philippines, and when they are hiring for people who to work the hotel, they say you can't be too black and you can't be too fat. On the She showed me the advertisement. Okay, that's a fact. That's verifiable. So when you say those types of things, or you say, well, Black people inherently are conservative. No, they're not. There's nothing conservative about Black people. I'm Unblack. We don't eat conservatively. We don't spend conservatively. We don't live conservatively. There is nothing inherently. So I believe something is seriously wrong. Chi, you might disagree. Blanche disagrees. Something is wrong with the Black person's mind, and I do believe that it has a lot to do with low IQ. It really.
Well, I've been looking into this, and I told you I spend a lot of nights up late, like finding information that I wish I hadn't found. And so, the IQ thing is one of those things. But I've read Thomas Sowell had a decent explanation for it, and his basically was, and I forgot the person who basically came up with this. It's not Thomas Sowell's idea, but he talks about this guy who said that Africa, first of all, where it's geographically located, it's not easily accessed by ships. You can't port ships, and
Right.
the Nile River that cuts through Africa that would allow for ships to pass through and commerce to go through, it dries up all the time, so you can't pass ships through it. That changes it, makes it so much different from other lands. The other thing that they said is that this is the most important piece to this, is that a lot of these other places, Japan, the Asia, and definitely Europe, they had super cold winters. And so the winters made it so that people had to figure out how to store food or they would die. So they had to think, and it got them to develop all these technologies that would keep food and preserve food and grow food, agriculture. All that stuff came out of this system where it's like, okay, you're living in this place where if you don't do these things, you and your family dies. So they had to think, while Africans had it kind of easy. And so I think there's another Frank Zanu. I don't know if you watched the Zanu project. He talks about that a little bit. So he's saying, Africans had it easy so that they didn't have to do these kinds of things. And so that over time, you know how you can breed an animal, dogs, into different breeds and stuff, because over time you do these patterns and it changes what they become. You got some breeds that are smarter than others. So it's like, if you think about how Black people have come up, if that's the process, we don't have the philosophers like in Greece. They had all these Greek philosophers, Socrates, all these things through the Middle Ages when whites were chopping each other's heads off and they were extra violent. Then you had these people who came and they were critics of this kind of behavior, and they were aggressively critical. So people didn't like them. I mean, people wanted to hurt them and kill them, but they did it anyway. And people eventually, they started to take those messages and implement them into society. And what Zanu has said is that Black people have not done that. We haven't had our philosophers that have been listened to and taken seriously or accepted. We disregard them. We throw them out. And so these kind of behaviors continue. So it's a combination of things where we have this situation where we didn't have a reason to grow technologies or to engage in the commerce. I hope that that's the correct thing, and it sounds plausible to me. So that's what I kind of lean on in terms of that. I don't like to think it is just we're just inherently what we are, because IQ can change over the years, and it does change. They even change the way that they rank it over the years because people's IQ has elevated. So, and you put black people in different circumstances, if they get raised, but like they get adopted by whites, and you'll see that they have IQ goes up. So it can't simply be something that's uh hereditary, or however you call it, is genetic. As there are some. I hear what you said, Blanche, about not saying the racists, but there are some racists out there because I see them in my comments lately. And so, and somebody posted something about that today, and I was like, okay, this is stupid. I gotta address this. I wanted to delete the comment, but I was like, no, I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to actually respond to it. So
What they say?
just that, it's a genetic thing. It's a black. You guys are just inherently like this, and it's like, okay, if we're inherently like this, explain why there's people like me who are talking against this kind of stuff. It's like, why are you coming to my video and saying, and that's the thing I think that blacks don't like about us, right? Is that we're saying these things that they think are white supremacist talking points, right? You hear that phrase said a lot,
Yeah.
and I think that their fear is that white supremacists will use that and use what we're saying and use it to harm us. But I'm telling them it's not what we're saying. It's what these people are doing. And some of them are you, you're is what you're doing. So until you change that behavior, it doesn't matter if I talk about it. They've been talking about it. And, I used to go on Stormfront and all these racist sites to see what they were talking about. And I've been trying to figure out racism with all the stuff that I've been researching as of lately. If you look at my posts, a lot of it is about what white people thought of the things we were doing, what they thought about the protests, what they thought about the marches. White people did not like the marches when you're basically trying to force them to do something they don't want to do. And they had a lot of fear because we still had violence in our community back then. And we had some things that weren't, on the level. So they were rightfully concerned. I would have been concerned. And I likened it to when, and here in North Carolina, when Mexicans started to come here and people from Honduras, South America, when they started to come here, what happened was black people started to get very angry about it. And just imagine if those Mexicans had started marching through the hood saying, we want to be able to live here. We're people, black people that lost their minds.
Right.
So it's like, you got to think about it. You got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and think about what they would be thinking. You can't just be thinking about you all the time. And I think that's kind of the problem with a lot of us. We're selfish in that way. We're not thinking about how other people would think about it.
And I kind of want to piggyback on what he said. So just from my observation, I realized, I said, okay, I looked at Europe, I looked at Africa, and I realized that the closer you get to the equator, the easier life is. And so let's say white people for this term, white people were forced because of where they lived, terrain, climate, all these things, harder to grow food, all these things forced them to be industrious. They had to be open to new ideas. They had to be like, they formed a culture around survival, which most people do. They form a culture around surviving, and their culture is surviving around the harshest conditions. So naturally, they would have a better culture because their culture really could exist anywhere because it's prepared to deal with the harshest realities. Yeah. Get towards the equator. If I can just wake up, it's always 85, 90 degrees. I can just go to the water, get some fish, go to a tree, pick a fruit. There's not really any incentive to better anything because life is easy. So to me, I looked at it as more of a cultural thing than an IQ thing. Thomas Sowell mentioned that the kids that were raised, the kids that were biracial, that were raised in Germany and Europe, they had the same IQ as the white kids. It wasn't like because of the environment. Even me, I went to private school. You couldn't be in the private school and be dumb. So all the black kids there, there were no such. I never knew a kid there was no such thing as special ed and EPs and all that. That stuff didn't exist. College preparatory school, everybody there, it was assumed you had some brains. Getting a C meant you were dumb. You know what I mean? Like a C, right. But You're getting a C in a college prep course, though. You ain't getting a C in a regular class. I went to public school. I didn't do no work and got all B's. I didn't do nothing and got all B's. Anyway, but my point is that a lot of these white people that are talking, they're low IQ too, though.
Yeah.
So a lot of these what we consider racist white people, their talking points are just the mirror of the black folks' talking points. So the way black folks go on social media and say, man, white people are animals. Them same people are the same as the white folks going there. Man, black people are animals. They both really say the same thing. You listen, they both say the same thing about each other, just going back and forth. Because that's just like the low level existence of the conversation. Like those are the people online just spewing out nonsense.
Right.
But I'm talking about, we have like nuanced conversations. Even when they say about IQ, I understand the argument. But I say, if a person, you got to understand this, and this is what I tell white people this all the time. When a black person is arguing with you, they're not arguing with you because you're wrong. They're not. They know you're right. They're trying to win the argument.
Yeah.
So and that's why I go back to character. It's an integrity thing. Like they lie. So when they're in front of you saying, well, my grandfather said he went to school and 10 white men pulled up and they hung him on a tree and then he broke the tree and he made, like, they just lie. They just make up stuff to win but to win the argument.
Yes.
Oh boy.
That never happened to you is what I think.
But white folks be like, man, they stupid. I'm like, listen, dude, they know you guys are right, but they can't tell you that, because to tell you that would mean, guess what? They sell outs, they bootlickers, they cool. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna argue up and down, bring up ridiculous points, talk about all kind of stories and fantasies about what happened. The one girl said that white people were eating black people. I said, I just eating black people. I was like, what? But again, she wants to win the argument. Yeah. So she may look dumb on camera, she may look stupid, but she in the moment is just trying to beat you in the argument. She knows good and well nobody like black meat. So she knows this.
I do.
That's that white man can't jump stuff where he told Wesley Snipes, you rather, what'd he say? You rather look bad and win. Look good and lose than look bad and win.
Right. Yes. Even if I ask a LeBron fan, I'll say, would you rather LeBron win the championship averaging 5 points a game, or would you rather see LeBron James lose a championship but average 30? His fans are going to pick him averaging 30 and losing.
Lose the game. Oh, God.
That's what they're going to say that. And to me, that epitomizes black people, is that they just want to one-up white people. That's the goal. Like in every conversation, they just want to one-up them, just don't want them to win anything. And so to me, half of this stuff to me ain't even IQ. It's just a character issue. Like, you know good and well what you're saying is like, these black folks know good and well that man ain't killed George Floyd. They know this. I don't
know, Blanche. I don't know, Blanche.
I ask them all the time. I say, can you yell if you are being choked? I said, George Floyd's on the ground and he is literally yelling.
Yep.
Can you yell and be choked? They always tell me no. So then you have to abandon science. You have to abandon logic to say that he was being choked.
Yep.
I said, none of y'all watch the court case. If you watch the court case, there's no way you're going to think this guy killed this man. But that's not my point. My point is that I talk to black people in real life, and I'm having these conversations, and they concede on my points. But guess what? That's one-on-one. When the group comes back in the room, they don't agree with me no more. Yeah. Now they back to George Floyd was killed. So that's what I talk about, is they lie. It's a character issue. It's character. It ain't IQ, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think you're probably right about that, because it's like the reason they come down on black conservatives is because we're talking this stuff that black people will say that like I heard from black people that, I'm not going to this party because they're going to get ignorant. They know that black people are violent. They know this stuff. But if you say that where there may be white ears listening, they're going to say, no, we just, that's not happening.
Everybody commits crime.
Right.
It's about proximity.
Right. they start saying this craziest stuff, but it's like, I know you when we were hanging out as teenagers, and you would say, these people are dangerous. I don't want to go to this area because that you might get robbed. You might get, so if you notice, how come you attack me? Because I'm calling it out on camera.
Exactly. And that was the whole George Floyd thing. It's like, I'm like, you would never talk to George Floyd. You would walk and see a George Floyd and you'd be like, nah. And you would cross the street like the white people. You would never be around this guy. That's why I believe Blanche. Okay. The super chat, Maestro Mark says, when it comes to the IQ situation, I'd say it's inheritable, but not fixed or immutable. I agree. So when I say this, and I've explained it a few times, I'm not saying that it's like it can't be fixed. It can be developed. Even IQ can be developed. But when you keep mating with these retarded people, you make more retarded kids. And that's what's happening.
It makes it harder and harder, right?
It makes it harder and harder.
Yeah.
And now what's happening in America, you want to start talking about the whites. The whites are mating with the blacks that are retarded. And so it's just all, it's all ease of, like you said, I believe it's environment. America makes it very easy to be very lazy. A lot of whites are low IQ in America. And I hate that for them, because when in the history books, it talks about when the white people came over to America, these Indians were dying. Same situation, same climates and everything. The Native Americans were dying until Whitey came over and said, hey, this is how you live. This is how you live in these climates. So what can explain why the brown Indians were here and they weren't surviving? So I do believe that IQ is something, like you said, you have to be put in environments to develop it. You have to be put in private school. You have to read books. You have to be education. You have to be determined. But unfortunately, when you have a community of people where it's acceptable to be retarded, it's celebrated to be ignorant, it's celebrated to be violent, it is celebrate. Oh, I'm gonna punch them in their face. That person doesn't get doxxed. Okay, that person crashing out and screaming and cussing and, like you said, throwing the hamburger. Those girls with the little ponytail didn't get doxxed. Nobody pulled them to the side. I guarantee you nothing happened to her. Then this is what is going to continue to happen. You're going to end up with just a bunch of illegitimate people that just can't function. They can't function. And I'm tired of it. That's why Blanche and I are just like, we have rebelled against it so hard to be like, no, we're not y'all. And then they get mad. Blanche, they're like, no, first they tell us we're not black for how we act. And then we say, you know what? You're right. I'm not. If ignorant, violent, and stupid and retarded is black, then you're right. I'm not that. No, yes, you are. You black.
They ain't gonna accept you. They ain't gonna never accept you.
What you want it to be?
So I'm gonna say this too. Now listen, there are people that have low IQ and they do mate, and the kids are at disadvantage. I used to work in education, and a lot of those kids, I'm like, goodness. So yes, I get it. I'm just saying though that
you need some kids.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, but environment does play a huge role. So again, my mother, I learned how to read through threats and intimidation and terror. I remember one time I got a whoop because my mom was like, spell red. I was like, R-E-D. And she was like, spell red. I was like, R-E-D. She was like, if you don't spell red, I'm about to come in there. I was like, R-E-D. But she was saying red as in I read the book. So she thought, anyway, I learned under duress. But my point is that my mother did not play about education to the point where I was going to private school. So there was no, if I probably could have had a low IQ. I don't know, but she wasn't finna hear it. So it would have been an excuse. I probably could have been retarded. My mom was like, well, you can be retarded in this house. you gonna learn today.
Right.
So my mom did not play about, let me tell y'all a story real quick. I remember one time I just studied for a history test. And at the end of the test, I wrote a note. I said, please, I said, please don't grade me too harshly. I wasn't able to study. I had practice, basketball practice. Simple, harmless note. Of course, I got a D- on the test, right? So my mom was mad at the D-. She was mad, but she was like, okay, you finna sit here and you finna go through this book and ask these questions the right way. And so she's going through the test. Why she gets to that last page? Boy, she read that note. She turned into Iceberg Slim. She got that, she put that hand back. And when I tell you, she backhand me out the chair like I owed her $100. Bah! She was like, don't you ever in your life beg for a great boy. She was, listen, but again, that's my mom though. That's my mom. So I didn't have the choice when I was going to learn. So low IQ wouldn't have mattered. Retarded wouldn't have mattered. I didn't have the choice. A lot of kids go home and guess what? Their parents don't care. So imagine a child, you mentioned it earlier, getting passed from K through 12th grade and even through college. Imagine a child going through life. The parents don't really care. Teachers don't care. Administrators don't care. So what is the incentive and they keep getting pushed through. So what's the incentive to actually learn or actually want to have a higher IQ or actually want to achieve something scholastically or academically? What's the incentive? And so to me, what RB just mentioned, the culture, on top of all of that, the culture takes you and says, you know what? Because you're Black, you're already there. You're already smart. You're already gifted. Remember, they say Black and gifted. Think about it. So
Black excellence.
Black excellence.
T-shirt.
Magic melanin.
Magic melanin. The ether, the cosmos, your third eye, all of this stuff. And guess what? But you can't read. You done built the pyramids. You done did ancient Kemet. You done taught the whites how to bathe. No, they love saying that. You taught them math. You did all of this stuff. Y'all was at the height of greatness. You conquered the world. You ruled for centuries. But your children can't read and write and do math on grade level. How does that make sense? It don't even make sense.
And it'll bother you. It doesn't bother you. There's no outrage. There's no outrage. All y'all do is sit. You walk down your streets. The men are sitting, literally doing nothing. And it doesn't make you mad. Matter of fact, I won't even say they're not doing nothing. They're pissing on your stoops. And it doesn't make you mad. But what we're saying makes you mad. You want to fight us.
Yeah, and you said that your mother made you do your work. You grew up with both of your parents?
No, my dad left. You know, I grew up with my parents. You know, I did.
I
would have mentioned my dad, but
okay, no, because I only asked you that because, you know, my parents broke up when I was about 4. They divorced. So, okay. But my mother was an educator, and she was kind of the same way. Not as on me as your mother, because I was messing up a lot when I was young. So she didn't get on me as much, but she did like make sure that I was reading. I was always reading above grade level and stuff like that. But the reason kind of why I asked that question, and I just kind of forgot why I asked that question, but because I read something about moms being the ones who usually are the ones who teach children how to read. They're the ones, even if you have both parents there, it's always the mom who is there. And I just kind of wanted to get an idea about that. But I think a lot of the women are checking out from that duty these days.
Oh yeah.
And so kids are going home and the mother's not even, like you said, they don't care. But the other thing is that I have 2 kids, 2 boys, and my oldest, I think he was probably in about 5th or 6th grade when they stopped giving homework. And now my youngest son, he doesn't get homework either. So
in elementary school?
No, he's almost in high school. He's in junior high school at this point. So and my oldest son they were not giving out homework. They're excuse was the kids at the bottom of the class weren't doing the homework. They didn't think it was fair to grade, and those kids would be left behind, basically.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so a lot of this stuff is all classwork. The only homework that my youngest son brings home now is work that he does not complete in class. So having the opportunity to even see how he's doing is difficult. They have all these programs you can get on the computer and you can kind of see the grade, but you don't. Just everything is backwards. The education system is all crazy right now. So that's another issue that it'd take a whole nother show to talk about all the crap that goes on there. But I mean, it's the mothers putting a priority on work rather than helping their kids is a big deal for Blacks. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we're not seeing a lot of Black kids be as successful in school, because a lot of Black women are raising kids alone, so they're working 2 jobs. There's no time for them to check homework, and even if they wanted to check them, and a lot of them have a poor attitude anyway, so they're not going to have the emotional discipline to deal with the kid. It's difficult to deal with a kid who's struggling with math, and you don't even know you got to figure out how to do the math to show them how to do it. I mean, it's difficult. So
in a culture who hates children. I mean, serious. Like literally, Blanche and I did a show, and this is Black and white, like where white people are celebrating not having any kids, dual income, no kids, dinks. Yeah. And so American culture, it's an attack on children. And so Black people, especially women, they kind of absorb whatever the culture is, and the culture that's being celebrated is the oh girl, you got your degree, you got your doctorates, but you're an elementary school teacher. Okay, whatever, like, but that's celebrated. Go ahead, doctor. And not the mom, like a stay-at-home mom or a lady who stays home with her child is like, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom. Like, I couldn't do it. I could not deal with my kids. Yeah, it shows, because your kids is out here robbing people. Like, I mean, and it's sad. It doesn't matter. Socioeconomic, they said it doesn't matter when it comes to Black children. The rich ones are robbing people, like, and the poor ones. I'm out here in Maryland, and PG County is one of the richest counties in the black counties in the world. It's ran by all Black people. It's, I mean, beautiful houses, $1 million houses. They all got government jobs, and you can't leave your car door unlocked. You will get robbed. You will get stabbed. The kids can't read at all. You wouldn't send your dog to a PG County school. And that's not to disparage them, but I'm just saying this is a culture where even the people who have the means to educate children, even the people who have the money, the education to do it, they despise children.
Yeah. I think John Ogbu, I don't know if you guys have heard of John Ogbu. Is he's a African gentleman, but he did a study on the differences between, and he went to affluent Black communities and looked at how kids were doing education, how the parents were doing education with the children. Did they put a premium on education, or did they not? And he was finding out in these affluent Black communities where they were going to the same schools as whites, the whites were spending more time focusing on their education than the Blacks were, who were in the same communities, had money, had both parents. They just were not putting a premium on education. So it definitely is a cultural issue.
I'm gonna say, when I was growing up in Sacramento, in public schools, you brought this back to memory. I remember they couldn't take books home, so you had to leave your books at school. So you're right, the work had to have been done at the school because they couldn't take any books home, and they had no lockers because, again, the violence and the guns and stuff. So it's crazy that you just brought that back to memory. I asked, I said, how y'all do homework? He's like, we don't get homework. We do everything at school. And so when you said it, I was like, that's crazy. But no, back home, they spend too much money on books. They take the books home and they never bring them back to school. Yep. So they were like, we're going to stop that. No more books. Everything stays in the school. And so students show up, do the work at school, and then go home. And then Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm. Yeah, and I think the education thing is that's not just a black thing. I think it's just the public school system thing. But I think that part of it has to do with the black kids failing, and liberals feeling sorry for black kids as they did when black kids were acting out in the classrooms, and you can no longer suspend them because they looked at all these suspension records and it was too many black kids, so they had to stop suspending the bad kids. Now you got the bad kids, they got to stay in class with everybody else and just ruin classrooms for everybody. So it's like there's so much, I see these I don't know if you want to call them white racists or whatever, but they're posting these things and they're angry about it, and rightfully so. I mean, I get it, because a lot has changed because of people kind of bending the rules for black people. And if liberals would have just stood on business 10 toes down and just said, you're going to have to do what you need to do to make it like we were. I mean, we were on that path until they came with the welfare system. I said, it seems like we knew that we had to be able to compete. We're building our own schools, the help with some whites, philanthropists and stuff like that. All the HBCUs and black universities and high schools were built, and they did some amazing things. You look at some of the schools back then; they were competing with white schools, and now I don't know. The liberals just messed up everything.
and guess what? And if we can add a component of religion, and we think about the church, everything was centered around the church. And then, the communists got a hold to the church, the socialists got a hold to the church, the liberals got a hold to the church. And then, so we saw black folks totally got, I don't want to say blindsided, but I will say that what was done to black people in this sense, and I will say this, if you took that same approach that was done to black people to any other group, it had the same effects. Because if you were to use their education, their churches, their culture, their entertainment, like if you bunker, black folks got bombarded by in every aspect, film, television, everything was pushing them towards socialism and communism. Everything was doing it. And so if that was done to any other group of people, it would have had the same effect, because who could prepare for that? Who can prepare for everything? Everywhere you're turning, it's you have no, and I talk about this, there's no escape. If I go to school, I see it. If I watch a movie, I see it. If I watch a television show, I see it. If I listen to music, everywhere I go, I hear this programming and propaganda. So how do you even escape that? And to me, what happens is that because there's a poor family structure, and because, like RPG said, they don't care about education, they don't really care about the children. They care about children when it comes to like prom and baby reveals, that kind of stuff. But they don't actually. My mom loved me because she took painstaking time to make sure that I was going to be something, even to extreme points. But at the same time, it's not everybody's parents. There was, in my neighborhood, there was like two families that had mom and dad. One family, great results. Other family, dysfunctional. Mom and dad drinking, fighting all the time. They married. The dad's in the house, but it's a dysfunctional. It's actually more dysfunctional with the man there, because they're always arguing and fighting.
Yeah, and it can get like that for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Versus if he was gone, it'd just be her and the kids in the house, and maybe a little more peaceful. I don't know, but
yeah, I think that there are instances of people who have two parents in the household, and they're living in a community like that where there's everybody else is like single parent and it's a single mother. Yeah. And I always say that, in those instances, these people are still they're growing up in a culture that is the matriarchal culture, even if they have both parents there. So their friends, which they're going to get a lot of, I think they said that kids stop really getting a lot of their information, picking up all these things that are going to matter in their life after they reach like age 5 or 8. And then it starts transitioning into their peer group. They're picking up a lot of stuff from their peer group. So at that point, if all your peers are raised by single mothers and they have that same single mother mentality, that it's like it's over for them too. They're basically in that culture, even if they grew up with the both parents. So it's a lot when you have 65, what is it, like 63, I think 63% of Black kids are raised by a single mother at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one more thing, and the married couples in those environments, the wife is hanging out with all single women.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, you guys, I'm gonna put it back on the men. Like, the men in our community are allowing this to happen because I do believe that men are the stronger beings, but they have almost just let women just kind of go ahead. They fell for the propaganda that women are equal to men. And even the Bible says that when the righteous is in charge, the people rejoice. When the wicked is in charge, the people moan. And that's what's happening. So when I say that men are superior to women, I'm not saying it because I hate myself. I love being a girl. I love my femininity, but I recognize that we as women are not better off by allowing the men to just be demonized and attacked when you guys have a greater capacity for what the world throws at us. Y'all have a greater capacity for paying bills. You have a greater capacity for building roads. You have a greater capacity for education. And so when men say, hey, no, stop, we're not agreeing to this psyop, starting with the men who are in the household, saying, no, I'm not going to accept this from my wife. As the Bible says, it's better to live on the roof of your home than inside with a contentious woman. Men need to have the courage, and I'm not trying to tell men what to do. I'm asking that just have the courage to say, hey, this is the way it's going to be, or it can't be any way at all.
Yeah. And I think there are men who've tried that. I know a lot of men who've tried, and unfortunately, the Black women, man, they can be treacherous. And so I've had friends who tried to deal with their children. They have kids, and then the women just make it super difficult for them. And so they end up not being there for the kid. And it's like a lot of the men, they don't want to not be there. They want to, but it's just like, it's so difficult because the women just like, you're not going to be able to do. And then it's not just the women, it's also the system. I hate to say the system. I'm always coming down on people's names, but the system is built in a way that so it protects women. So and it favors the woman. So the man, I had friends fight for years to get custody of their kids because the women were doing all kinds of craziness with the child. And so, and eventually one of them, he got custody, but it took years, lots of fights, lots of problems. And a lot of people just men don't want that much conflict with women. It's like, it's difficult to deal with conflict. And I've had my share, and I've been good at avoiding it. But at some point I had to think to myself, how much did I let fly because I didn't want that conflict?
Yep.
And it's difficult.
But just because it's difficult, I mean, that's how you kind of know that you're going in the right direction. So that's why I'm saying, like, I see so many men, like even white men. I'm like, why are you podcasting while the girl who shall remain nameless is trying to run Chicago? Like, go be in leadership. It's built around women because y'all are allowing women to be your judges. You're allowing women to be your police officers. My son's God, I don't want to say his name, but somebody who I know, he is a power lineman, and they started incentivizing women to be power linemen. Like they went out there. Now power lineman is hard. Like, I mean, it's hard work. And they were paying the women the exact same money that they were paying the men, but literally the women couldn't do the work at all. Like it got to the point where the women were sitting in the truck because if they let the woman do the job, they'd be dead. I mean, this is power. They'd be shocked to death. So this person mentioned, he said, we just tell them to go sit in the truck because we all want to live. But she's getting paid the same amount. Like, why are y'all allowing these types of things when y'all know, y'all see it? Y'all see the women are incapable. You see this is happening. Please, I implore y'all, start stepping up and saying, no, you can't do that. And honestly, like you said, it's hard, but eventually we have no choice to submit because we can't fight y'all. We really can't. We can't.
I think it's an interesting time now because you see men pushing back. You see people pushing back against, the black fatigue thing. You see all these pushbacks happening. You see people recognizing, you see Helen Andrews talking about it. You see people talking about these things. And I think they're gaining momentum. It seems like they're gaining momentum. The question is, can we, go get to a point where people are, okay, we can see that this is a problem. Let's change some things. I don't know if we get there. I'm hoping we do. And I think that, I'm definitely trying to push for those kinds of things in my relationships. It sounds like you're probably doing the same thing. So I think that people are, and then you see these things, but then you have these kind of bastardized versions of that with kind of like the manosphere and stuff. Some of these people are kind of like on the fringe of trying to do certain things. So you see that people are trying to do stuff, but I think some of the people are just trying to figure out their way at this point and how to do this without getting the type of backlash or punishment that you can get when you're trying to go against women. So,
Yeah, Danny on Instagram is saying that it's the peace factor because men want peace. So most men avoid conflicts with women. They just do. They either avoid it or they'll concede and say, okay, whatever, just because they want peace. The problem is that you're not dealing with a woman from 1940. So the problem is that that might have worked back in the day because she's more of an honorable woman, more traditional, and society back then kept women in check too. So if you present yourself a certain way, you got shamed. You couldn't be a woman of the evening and not be shamed. You couldn't have these certain type of actions in public and not be shamed. But now society is saying we want to see more of the ratchetness. We want to see more debauchery. We want to see you, because now women are expressing their liberation through sex. It's all it is just sex. It's just sex. There's nothing, when women get free, the first thing they want to do is go screw something. That's the first thing they want to do. Nothing about it. They don't want to go build nothing. They don't want to create nothing. They don't want to cure anything. They want to go use their vagina to terrorize the world. So, but as men now, because the can is so far down the road, now men have to make a tough decision. And they have to say, what am I willing? Because at this point, I believe that the stuff I do as far as relationships, it probably even for me, it's probably just for the future. It's just to plant a seed or blaze a trail for the men after me to come and try to do it, because it's rough out in these streets, and it just is. And women have been incentivized, they've been empowered, and men, like RPG said, men acquiesced to it because they wanted peace. They didn't want to rock the boat. They still want to have access to sex. It's all of these things. Now a man has to be so bold to where he looks like a maniac. He has to say, listen, I'm not putting up with none of it. I'm not negotiating with no terrorists. I ain't doing nothing. Guess what? No second date. Matter of fact, no first date. We finna bring this thing all the way back.
Yep.
We can strip it all the way back. Guess what? The first date's gonna be us walking through the park like your grandparents did. We're gonna walk through the park, talk for 2 hours, get some ice cream. That's the date.
Yep.
We're not spending $250. You ain't getting we ain't going to eat, taking doggy bag home. No, we ain't doing none of that. Exactly. We got to dial this thing back. But for that to happen, men can't be afraid.
Yeah.
Men got to be bold. Men got to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to say this, even if it costs me. We got to get to that point, because guess what? not being like that got us here in the first place. And so, yeah, men gonna have to make a tough decision. And I don't know if this next generation is gonna do it. I'm looking at these young guys coming up, and they are smarter, but to me, the approach isn't to just not get married, not have kids. I ain't saying it. The approach is to be a man.
Yeah.
And then you get a woman that wants to be led by you. These guys' approach is we ain't doing it at all. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying stand firm, have a backbone, and then go out there and vet you a good woman. That's what you need to do. But they are smart. These young guys see the game, they see what's going on, but I think their approach is a little bit, they're kind of like overcorrecting. We're going to just divest them at all. You can't do that. You know,
run for office, educate yourself, climb the ladder, like be engaged in the system in order to change it. And everybody's got to, I don't know if you guys got to have a men's meeting or small meetings together, but like you said, just dialing it back. No, we're not taking you out on a date, and no, we don't want sex from you, because that is the way that women control, is like,
yeah.
You know, because that's all we got. Blanche and I talk offline a lot about this. Is like, if you only had one vice for survival, I mean, and men have to almost get to a point where you just kind of shut yourself off and understand that, hey, I'm not going to allow her to manipulate me. I don't know how strong that is. I'm not a dude, but just thinking about it biblically from Samson and Delilah, Samson was the strongest man alive, and he knew Delilah was setting him up. Delilah set him up twice. He saw the people coming. He's like, the Philistines are upon you. He saw it happen, and he still fell for it. Like, that to me,
she had that good though.
She had that good.
That red snapper, man. He was like, I see the danger, but man.
But look what's happening to the women because of that. Like I'm saying this just as a plea, as a mom. I'm a mom of 3. You don't know that, but I have 3 children, and so it's imperative that my husband is the best version of himself, because I'm raising 2 boys and a daughter. I want a better life for them, a better world for them. And once you see, and this is why I say something seriously wrong with Black women and Black men too, but Black women, you see the results of your incapability, and you still want to continue to do it. Like, you see your communities falling apart. You see, when I'm in Baltimore, so you go down Pennsylvania Avenue. Stop saying that there's no men, you guys. There's tons of men. Actually, more men are born to the world than women. That's a fact. Like, I think more men, it's 51 to 49. Like, so more men are born. Stop saying there's no men. Look what's happening to the men that are born. Like, it's not working.
Yeah, and I think people need to get focused on marriage early too. I look at some of the more successful communities, Asian community, it sticks out in my mind. I think they get married pretty early.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that a lot of Black folks, they're wanting to party until they're in their 30s, and then it's like, oh, 40s, and it's like, oh, now I need to settle down. But it's like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm guilty.
Hey, I'm guilty too, man. It's like, I'm 50 now. I made some mistakes when I was younger, but looking back at it now, it's like, I just think that if we put a premium on marriage and tell kids, yo, do that early, like, figure it out. Like, if it's your high school sweetheart, like, that's so you can focus on other things. Because one of the reasons why so many of these other groups are doing well is because the men, they don't have to focus on chasing women. They don't have to focus on thinking about that kind of thing. Now they're thinking about, how do I take care of my family? And that instills in them this drive to focus on, you know, work or building a business or whatever the case may be. And because, you know, so many Black people are not taking that choice, they become perpetual kids. Like, you look at these rappers, and they look like they did when they were 15. They're 60 years old. Some of these people looking like they did when they were 15. They just never grew up. And I think that's a serious problem in our community. Is just like we're wanting to be children forever because fun. You know, the argument that when I did that video on the proms, the argument a lot of these moms were making is that they wanted their kids to have fun. Like and I spoke to another girl the other day, and she was saying that she wanted to, the reason why she wasn't settling down is she wanted to focus on fun. All this about fun, like happiness. I need to be happy. I was like, happiness is just an emotion. Like you're going to experience happiness a few times a day. You'll experience sadness. You know, you're not, nothing's going to make you happy all the time. There's nothing that's like that. If they did, they would have bottled it up and sold it for all kinds of money. but
Right.
you can't be like happy all the time. That can't be the primary goal. That you have to have some other things that you're reaching for sometimes.
Somebody said, you can do it if you want, Blanche, but finding a good woman be hard. Have to find a young one. It's like Blanche is single by choice. I mean, obviously, like Blanche, but you have decided, and that's why, y'all, I love Blanche and I revere him. He's decided to say no. He's not going to put up with that. And the more men decide that they're not, I would have lost my marriage if I didn't choose to walk another path. And more men have to just say, roof of my house, bye, chick, leave them. Like I am serious. Like reject them. No, sorry, I don't like fat women. I actually don't. I actually like my women slim. And no, you're not beautiful at any size. You're actually not. Like more men, but man, they be at y'all throats if you but what can we do? What can we do besides get mad, scream and holler like a toddler, and get skinny? Like,
well, one of the problems is that they have the support system of their friends and all the other women who support them, so they get validated through that. And so the man's perspective is whatever you talking about, it doesn't matter because I got 500 women who agree with me over here on my timeline. So it's like they get the validation from their friend group. So it's difficult. Like changing the culture is you know, it's something that I've been thinking about for years. How do we do it? We could have this conversation for I don't know, years. Hopefully something changes though.
Yeah, and what I see is, I will say this: I do see more voices critiquing the culture.
yeah.
I do see more voices saying that this is not right, and actually, you know, but again, Black folks have always felt this way.
Yeah.
They're just voicing on social media. Like I remember being even young, like my grandfather, my grandmother, my grandfather, the way they talked about Black folks was like they was in the Klan. Like it was like these niggas just like they like if you wasn't a productive citizen or, you know, in society, my grandparents wasn't like, it wasn't no, you was a degenerate, you was a call them, you know, rougher recipient, you was a recipient, you know, you was just all of these not good terms, because back then the standard was a lot higher and they didn't tolerate all that foolishness, like all this, you know, low performance, not going to school, all that was frowned upon. And so how they would talk about Black people, you sit and listen to them, I'd be like, dang, they talking crazy. Like every time you bring somebody up, like, you know, with kids playing, who was that? You're like, oh, that's John. They were like, oh, his daddy about nothing. His daddy worked it. Like, and they just start going. They just start going in on everybody's family. So, but my point is that that's to me when the culture was salvageable, because it was a standard. Like, nah, we recognize that this is a part of quote unquote the Black community, but it's rejected.
Yeah.
Now that portion of the Black community is the voice. Yeah. So MLK is to blame for that, because MLK is running around telling these black folks that were saying no, because first they were like, no, these middle class, upper middle class black folks were saying, we don't fool with them. MLK said, but they need you.
Yeah.
The white man got his foot on their neck. They was like, well, it ain't on our neck. Tell him to get a job. Like they was, and so MLK was able to convince them to let their guard down, open their heart up, and support the movement. But initially, black folks was rejecting that, and rightly so, because y'all are going down there bothering white folks for what?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing for what? We got our own restaurants. Y'all say they food nasty anyway. We got our own restaurants.
Own bus companies.
Own company, bus company. Like we got our own everything. Why are y'all going to bother them white folks? Why? And the only reason black people started following King was because he started getting popular. I don't even think it was the message. I think they saw a black man that was popular, and black folks was like, ooh,
They just children.
I want to be a part of that. Ooh, look at he on the cover of a magazine. Ooh, he on TV. Look how he talking. He sounds so artistic. I think that was more of a draw than his actual mess, in my opinion. So black folks love that celebrity, that star status. That's why I was putting a celebrity in front of black folks, because black folks want it. Black folks don't want people like us leading them. They want a celebrity. They want an athlete. They want a musician. That's what they want to lead them. They want somebody to make them feel good. Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall show, played the saxophone, and became black. look how low the bar. A white man plays the saxophone on a show that only has a black host. The show ain't black. Arsenio Hall is just the host. Everything else is white or Jewish. He's just the host. A white man gets on the show, plays the saxophone in some sunglasses, and black people said he was the first black president. So you're right.
He got fellatio also.
Well, that put him over the top. You official now. Yeah. But one of the pillars I have of in the destruction of black people is black men have arrested development. They don't want to grow up. Yeah. And I really got this from self-reflection. I looked at my life and I said, I didn't grow up till I was in my 40s. Mm. And I looked at my own, and I realized that I was playing until I got in my 40s. I literally was a child all the way up until my 40s. And I realized that that's most black men. I don't know what the reason is, but most black men, because I was hanging around a bunch of black guys, we all did the same thing. Most black men have arrested development. And I don't know if it's because we raised by our mothers. I don't know if it's because the black women may sometimes be catering and pampering, allowing us to be degenerates around them and still sleep with them. No standard for that. You know, I don't know what it is, but we are very reluctant to grow up. Yeah. And I realized when you said that, I agree with you 1,000% in that the maturity level. And I think that when you say get married earlier, I think that a father in a young man's life matures him faster. Whereas I feel like a mother just being there makes it almost puts it in reverse, because she kind of, you being the boy, she more or less want to baby you. It's kind of weird how they treat the women versus the men in the household, like her daughters versus her sons. So I feel like the son he gets more pampered, and the daughter has more expectations to be like more productive in society, in my opinion. Like she's expected to go to school and learn. She's expected to do the house stuff. Like she's expected, there's a standard for her in the house. Whereas the boy, I don't know, I just feel like he gets coddled more.
Mama's boys.
Yeah, well, you guys, okay, so someone said Chi is correct. They have Galentine's Day now. And I'll say the stimulated student, he was saying some really funny stuff. Yeah, they have that in replace of having an actual Valentine's. It is all speaking to what men are not admitting, that women want the love of men more than that you wonder why a mom just loves the boy so much, because it's that masculine attraction. And when men like just kind of give it away for give it away for free, like kind of what you're doing now, giving away your attention, the whole watching porn or watching Instagram, and you seeing these girls and you liking it, and you give, like, that's the most valuable thing a man has, is that attention that I'm teaching my son this, you guys, and I'm learning it as well. Like Blanche, I didn't unblack until I was 40 as well. So I'm 40, I'm about to be 43, I'm 42. But I'm like unlearning these things because I want a better life for my children than I had. I had a very rough and tough life because of the decisions that I made growing up in a single parent home. When I did get a father, I was probably already dipped and flipped and all that good jazz, my stepdad, when he did step in. But men have to understand, and Blanche talks about a woman's nature, is yes, we want you guys to, but y'all are just kind of giving it away, and it cheapens it.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta say no. Y'all gotta say, like, nope, sorry, not interested. Or like Blanche says, don't sleep with her. Like, literally, do not. Like,
Yeah.
or sleep with her and don't call her back.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something we got to teach I got to teach the younger generation.
Don't call her back. Don't return her phone calls. I know that sounds bad. I know that sounds bad.
Don't sleep with her.
I know that sounds bad, but y'all got to do something, you know?
And listen, and I say don't sleep with her because you're going to set a standard. She's going to, like, what I realize in my life is when you don't sleep with them, they're upset, but they respect you more because they know that you have to have some kind of level of self-worth to say, I'm not doing it. So she already knows because most guys are going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You already put yourself in a category. But my point is to set a standard, though, to let her know that this is not going to be a reason as to why you get in my good graces. Right. It's not going to be said. You're going to have to prove that you can be my wife. And that's going to require you to be a godly woman, a woman that's submissive, a woman that's patient, a woman that's understand all of these things. So don't just think we're going to just have sex and you're going, nah, we ain't skipping no steps. We both get into as my boy said, we both get in the backyard and tend to that garden. Both of us on our hands and knees, planting these seeds. And so I say don't sleep with them because to me, for a woman's mind, it's better, in my opinion. How the woman's minds operate, that's a better approach because women want non-sexual affection. They want non-sexual love. They want the father's love replicated in a man. Same. We want God's love. And so because they want that, we have to kind of be on that same level, never trying to bring ourselves down to that level because they, like Samson with Delilah, Samson was breaking all kind of rules. It wasn't just, he was breaking all kind of rules before he even got to Delilah.
Yeah.
So his people were like a very clean, righteous, set apart people. So he was even grabbing the jawbone of an ass was something they didn't touch dead flesh. Yeah. So like Samson was really breaking a lot of rules, but think about it. What attracted Delilah to him was that he was set apart, that he was that type of man. That's what made her want to get with him. He was supposed to get with Delilah and say, no, we ain't having sex. And then guess what? The kingdom is saved. People are saved and, you still in God's good graces. But I say all that to say that men have to make a decision. And to me, the best men to do it are Black men because they actually live in a matriarchal society. So if anybody's going to do it, it's Black men because they're actually in it and seeing the effects of it. So if they could do it, there's a sure enough blueprint for everybody else. It'd be a cakewalk for everybody else. But if Black men are able to turn this ship, it might just literally save the world.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Also got to kick the government out of there some kind of way too.
Well, you guys got to run for office. You guys got to become the government. Get your girl out there. And they dragging her in the comments, Blanche. They said Crystal need to be kicked off the show for calling that girl pretty. She is pretty. Blanche, pull it up.
I got it here. I'll pull it up.
They said, Blanche, do you think she's as pretty as Crystal says she is? She is pretty. Y'all so mean. And it's your people, Blanche. No, no, I am not adding her to, no. Blanche, don't do it. Don't
You
add it.
you said put, you want
No,
me to
I'm
put it?
talking about go look at it.
Okay, my bad. Okay.
Don't do that to her.
Hold on. Okay, let me look at it.
Don't do that to her. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got it.
You know who I'm talking about.
I think so.
Okay, it start with a C and an M. They put her name in the comments.
I can't.
Okay, I'm gonna say this about her, right? I'm gonna say this about her.
She's pretty.
I'm gonna say this about her.
You don't think she's pretty? Yeah, Blanche.
No. Listen. I think she's cute.
Thank you.
I think she's cute.
Y'all mean. I'm telling Blanche's people, they be dragging me, Chi. They be dragging me. They drag her. Y'all just hold on. Anova Lisa Dragonfly Blood says she's an attractive woman. Okay, yes, she is. She cute.
Listen, she got a natural hair, so I'm gonna give her. Listen, she already got 2 points.
Okay, she got natural hair.
Yeah, she already got.
They be dragging me for my week. They call it a hair hat, and I done showed them my real hair, but no. Somebody said beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She's cute, y'all. God.
Okay, we don't want to hold.
Yeah, but no, Chi, thank you so much for coming. You want to do one clip, Blanche?
No, because we've been on here 2.5 hours almost. This man got a life. This man is owning property, businesses, programming keyboards. This man's doing a lot. Listen, he ain't got time to be doing all. Listen, we thank you for these 2.5 hours. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on here. It's a pleasure. It's
How
fun.
can they find you? How can we find you?
Yeah, again, I'm on Consider Culture on YouTube. It's just Consider Culture, all one word. On Instagram, it's Consider_Culture, and Facebook is Consider Culture page. And I think I'm on TikTok as Consider Culture as well. So just look for Consider Culture. You'll find me a few places.
Nice. And thank you guys so much for the super chat. We're so grateful that you watch Unblack. If you still black, I hate that for you. I hate that. If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 90. Yes, that's how we feel. I feel bad for you, son, if you're still out here claiming that you're a part of a group of people who their kids can't read and write on grade level. What you got, Blanche?
Yeah, I mean, what RPG just said. Obviously, this is Unblack official, and we thank our guest for coming on. Chief for coming on, and I just love his content, and I want you all to check him out really on YouTube especially, and Instagram. I guess all of them, because he offers great content and is very thought-provoking, and I love the way he does it, because I feel a lot of fist punching in the background when he's doing these videos, because he's so calm and just, but great content, and thank you so much for agreeing last minute. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Thank you so much. And until next time, you guys, peace.
We step in out the dark into the light. No more blind. Now we see what's right. I'm not black, I'm free.
I'm black.
We're breaking free tonight.
I'm black.
I'm black.